Starting live. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Join in to this Facebook Live segment of Tuesday Talk with Dr. Yaz. That's right. We're in the right place at the right time. Tuesday Talk with Dr. Yaz is part 2. Around 8:30, we featured Jeremy and Caltundra Oglesby from Byron, Georgia. The topic was marriage here and now. We had some technical difficulties. So after we finished with that first couple, we're on round 2, part 2, featuring Brandon and Kathy Carswell. Due to technical difficulties, they were not able to join the first live, but we had to work through some kinks. And like I said earlier, I believe and just keep to try until we get it right. And while I was sitting here trying not to just panic, the song that came to mind was by the late singer Aaliyah, Try Again. It was a song from the original motion picture soundtrack, the motion picture Romeo Must Die. I know y'all remember that. I think that must have came out, I don't know, maybe 90s, early 2000s. Of course, I'm not going to play the song due to copyrights. I don't have the copyrights to do that. But some of the lyrics was, and if at first you don't succeed, then dust yourself off and try again. So like I say, I'm a fighter. You still trying, sis? Okay, that's India. Let me tell her to check again. We are live. We are live. Make sure they can see us because it's saying that we're live. And it looks like 3 people have tuned in to watch. So if you're watching, if you're gonna be here with us for a moment, be sure to say something to us in the comments to make sure that you can see and hear us. Okay, we're looking good. I pulled it up on my iPad. I'm able to see us. We're looking good tonight. All right, we're gonna keep it moving. As long as they can see us and hear us, we're gonna keep it moving. But anyway, okay, Kim, what's up, sis? Kim said hello. So we are on the air, we are live, and we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna introduce the Carswell, and we're gonna just have a chat about marriage here and now. That's right. It says Brandon Carswell was born in Virginia, July the 14th, 1982. After being diagnosed with leukemia as a child, he was called by God into the ministry. At the age of 13, he became a licensed minister, but he did not stop there. He went on to join the Army National Guard, then active duty in the Army. Now, Brandon is married to Kathy Carswell of 19 years, 1 daughter, and he's a certified transformational coach and licensed and owner of a financial services company, CFS Pro. He loves to read, help people live a transformational life, and travel. Kathy Carswell was born also in Virginia, March 14, 1979. Okay, you have a March birthday. I'm March the 2nd, you March the 14th. Yeah. So our birthday month is coming up real soon. Yeah. Kathy is adopted, and she went through several life growing situations which led her to publish her first book, Bringing Out the God Within. Phenomenal book. If you want to purchase it, by all means, reach out to her. It's on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, her book is on the Amazon.com website. If you have not purchased it, be sure to go to that website and get that purchased today, this week. She loves helping women look good with jewelry and feel good by motivating women who've been through similar things. Brandon and Kathy got married August 17, 2002. Through their ups and downs in marriage, they've learned that with God being the center of their marriage, effective communication, and just loving life, their marriage will continue to thrive. Just some great nuggets shared. I just want to add a twist to the bio that they sent. Kathy did not mention in the bio that she is a college graduate. She has multiple degrees. I just want to acknowledge that. And she's also a paparazzi consultant. Casey keeps us blinging. Yeah. Check her out. She goes, I want to say she goes live at least once or twice a day. So definitely reach out to her. She has a website. You can find her information on her Facebook page. So grateful to have her and her husband Brandon with us on tonight to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. It's past 8, but that's okay. We're going to talk about it. To some of you all that's still up, chime in. If you're married, put in the comment section, how long you and your spouse have been married. I'm trying to find my questions. Here are my questions. Going through these note cards. Something else I thought I was gonna say. Um, I did the introduction. We talked about what we're doing. What else was I gonna say? Well, maybe it wasn't important. But my first question is, Brandon and Kathy, welcome to the show. How did you meet? Tell us your story. How did you meet and end up here with us today? Because it said in your bio you've been married since 2002. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it. Okay, thank you. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. And we definitely are honored to be on this show with you, to spend this moment with you, and to share our story, our love story, if you will. Just had February 14th was Valentine's Day, which was a great day. And we definitely had some special moments we shared that day. But to get to the nitty gritty, how we met. Well, I was stationed at Fort Lee, Virginia, in the United States Army. And it was a night, I think a Friday night. And we had what's called an NCO club on Fort Lee. And the NCO club, you know, everybody would come to that NCO club, you know, from all around the surrounding Virginia, Petersburg, Richmond areas. On Friday night, they would be allowed to come on base to come to that club. And so that particular night, I guess Kathy and some of her friends decided to come on post to come to that club. And myself, I went to that club that Friday night. But before I went to that club, I went and got fresh. I went and got clean. I went and got me some nice new Durango boots, new blue jeans, and a nice new collar shirt, polo shirt. And I was so fresh and so clean. I went and
fresh
got
and
my
so clean.
clean, so fresh and so clean. And I got my head all balled up like I like it. And I was just ready to go. So we met at the NCO club. And when I met her, I'm gonna give you my version of the story. When I met her, because you know it's two versions. Two people gonna be two versions. You know. So when I met her, and I was initially standing up on almost on the wall. And you know how everybody is in the club, they stand up on the wall. So her friends were actually at a table sitting down. And I think it was about 3 or 4 of her friends at the table. And when I scoped out the club, and I saw her table, and I saw her and her friends, I had my eyes on her. And what I did when I saw her, because I had the knowledge of knowing how to get the woman that I want, I didn't approach her directly.
Okay.
I went to the table and I sat down. See, this is called game. This is called game.
You had the game, Kathy.
So I got game. So I got game. And so what I did was I went to the table. I introduced myself to everybody, and I shook everybody's hand, and I complimented the women at the table, and I shook their hand, but I didn't say nothing directly to her. And so I started talking to the other women at the table, and I didn't really give her any attention, and I did it on purpose. So her friends would tell her, you know, oh man, he's such a nice guy, he's cool, you know, he's just, you know, because when you walk away from the table, they gonna talk. The women gonna talk. Oh, those eyes, he got some good eyes. Oh man, he's fit, you know, whatever. However they talk, he looks nice. And so I just went back and I introduced myself, and then made my presence known. And I just I left the table, and later on that night, as music was playing and stuff like that, and then I went directly to Kathy and said, you know, would you like to dance? And she said, of course. Of course. Of course. And so we danced and we danced and we danced. And then what happens is she after everybody we danced and had a good time, and when I came back to the table, we actually talked and we connected, and we found out the next day that she was gonna still be in town. So the next day we hooked up, and I took her out to eat, and then she allowed me, after taking her out to dinner, to drive her home. And we had a good discussion and talk, so the whole time, she's really trying to, feel me out to try to, see how she can reel me in.
Oh, really?
So so now we end up I ended up taking her home, and after I did that, we discussed that we would definitely meet back up and talk again. And so that next day, I actually met her at her house, and we actually were sitting down talking and got to know each other on a deeper level. And the discussion was all about God. And I was over there at about 9 o'clock. So we was in her room at 9 o'clock at night, and all we talked about was God. Because my whole focus at that point in my life, I was looking for a wife. I was looking for a wife. I said, I'm a minister, I don't have a wife, and I know that that's dangerous. I'm a young man, it's a temptation. So I need to go out myself. So I need a wife. So I was looking for no playmate. I was looking for no kick it chick. I was looking for a wife. And so my whole night of talking to her about God and us discussing God was on purpose, on intentional. Because I wanted to know who I was talking to. I wanted to know her values. I wanted to know every single thing that I thought was of vital importance, of a characteristic that I would find in a Proverbs woman, a virtuous woman. And I promise you, everything I had in my mind, she answered that question. And I'm going to tell you one key thing I had in my mind. I asked her, I said, so what do you want the most out of anything? And in my mind, I said, if this woman answers, I want to serve God the most out of everything else in life, my greatest desire is to serve God. And do you not know what she said when I asked her, what do you want the most? What do you desire the most out of everything? Guess what she said? Guess what this woman said? I want to serve God.
Oh, wow.
I said, no. And I went back to my dorm, to the barracks, and I called my brothers on the phone, and I said, man, I just found my wife.
Oh, wow.
My wife. That's my version. Let's hear her version.
Most of what you said was right. The day that we met, I went to Virginia State University, and so I was there visiting my friends there. It was homecoming, and we usually go to the homecoming parties. And that particular time, we ended up going to the NCO club. We never went to the NCO club, and so we of course, me and Brendan, we met there. He did not allow anybody else to dance with me or anything. He was hogging me to. But the next day, he took me out to eat and everything. And I told him my friend was taking me back home. He said, no, I'll take you home. And so he took me home. And while we was leaving, I was like, I don't even know him like that. Because that was the very next day. And from Virginia State to where I live was like 40 minutes. And so for the 40 minutes, I'm like, I'm in the car with this man. And I don't really know him like that. But for some reason, I trusted him enough to say yes. And, for him to take me home. And then, like he said, we talked, and we finished talking around 2 o'clock. We didn't touch each other sexually or nothing. It was all based upon just good conversation. And I too, after he left, I called my sister, who I knew was going to be asleep, but I called her. I said, I think I just found my husband. So, and that's what it is. And then like 8 months later, we got married.
Wow. I love the chemistry you all had at the beginning. In the Bible, it said that you married on August the 17th, 2002. And that leads into the next question. How have you evolved as a couple over the years, over the 19 years? How have you evolved as husband and wife?
Oh my goodness.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah. It's been a lot of evolving. When we got married, Brandon, we celebrated his 21st birthday. So it was definitely a lot of, things that we do when we're younger. He was still a nice, adorable young man. And, he always been, I guess, what I want to say. I don't know what I want to say, but anyhow, he's been very good to, very talkative. I want to say to everyone, and so we did go through some up and downs in our marriage. But what brought us back together is always our conversation with, and having God be the center of our life. We went through marriage counseling, and several times, and different types of counseling. We went through counseling with our minister at that time. And we also went through a different group, and that was just awesome. Like, we went through different stages, and we separated before and came back together. And when we separated and we got back together in 2009, the difference is, of course, both of us grew up more, and it was a maturity there. And we had a conversation. I said, I'm not splitting up again. We're going to have to work through whatever comes up. And so, of course, ever since that time, we haven't split up, and it's been a beautiful time that we've been able to grow. Like, all the things that we learned from our counseling, it came out, and we had to implement those different things within our marriage. And that's what helped us, is that you can't be afraid to go to counseling, and ask for that help. Because sometimes, if you have a good friend that can help you, but sometimes you need, that outside force. Even counselors don't know you, to be able to, counsel you properly without, being biased towards any side. So that really helped us to, stay as long as we have, and looking forward to many more years.
Okay, and that's one side. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna just put a little spin on it, if you allow me to.
Put that spin on it, cuz.
All right. So here we go. The question was, how has our marriage evolved over the years? Correct.
Correct.
Okay. And I say, I don't think nothing can evolve without failure, without failure, without failing, not failure, excuse me, failing. So failing, what I'm saying is, I failed as a husband. I failed, but like the song says, we fall down, but we get back up again.
Right.
So was falling down. And I was falling down, because I didn't get a manual on marriage before I got married. I didn't know what I didn't know about being married. I didn't know how to properly maintain, properly be what I needed to be for a wife. So over the years, the work I did was on myself. So the personal development became a love and a passion, along with the scriptures, the love me immersing myself in God, and personal development, learning psychology, learning all these different tools and techniques to work on myself, has allowed me to evolve into the man that I need to be for her. But first, I had to be the man I need to be for myself. And then I could be what I need to be for a wife.
Powerful. Something, I think this is, Kath, I think you said this. You said, I'm just taking notes, just capturing some things you said. Can't be afraid to go to counseling. Yeah. And Brandon, you talked about nothing can evolve without failures. You talked about yourself just having to personally develop over the years to be who you are today. Some good. How do you handle disagreement when that arises?
I think it's much better now through counseling. I think it helped. And the thing of it is, when you're having disagreements, it's just trying to figure out, you know, what is the disagreement? Because sometimes you can have a conversation, and if it's a disagreement there, it's not about that conversation. It's about something else. You could be tired, you could be hungry, you know, you could be upset at something else. And so it's first figuring out, you know, why it is there's a disagreement. Because if we don't have some type of reality there, if we're not agreeing on something, then it's not going to be a effective communication. So when we went through counseling, and you know, we talked about that, like, you know, what is real to you, or you know, what do you agree upon? And so now when we communicate, like, I know for myself, if we communicate and it gets overwhelming, I either know, sometimes I know that I'm tired, so I'm aggravated, and you know, like, I can't talk about this right now. You know, like, you know, later on I will want to talk about it. But I've learned, like, my pushing points of, you know, when we're communicating. And so I think definitely, you know, vibing off one another. If we see that, you know, we're in a certain type of mood or something like that, you know, we'll try to not have the conversation, or either try to sometimes even work through the communication. It depends on, you know, how it's going, how deep it is that we can talk about whatever. But definitely, you know, just figuring out, like, what it is that how we can move through. Like, if we have difference of opinions, you know, it's not like I don't agree with what you're saying, or you don't agree with what I'm saying. Is that we can work through it. You know, we can both understand one another. And that's another thing. If you have that understanding, you know, whether you agree or not, that understanding will take you somewhere as well. Like, you know, I can understand where you're coming from, and then understanding where I'm coming from. And it might not come to an agreement because we're two different people, but it can be okay. Now, what's the middle part? What can we agree upon? If it's not this, it's not that, then what can we agree upon? And so that's helpful. You know, if we totally cannot see eye to eye on something, you know, we either take a break from the conversation or just see what it is that we can agree to.
Yeah, I like how you said that. However, I'm gonna put a little spin on it, like, you know, like I like to do. So I definitely, I definitely agree with, you know, with some of the things that you said, and that perspective. And I think our arguments are very healthy for a relationship. But I think when you fight, it's a way to fight. It's a way to fight. You got to fight fair. And what I mean by fighting fair is you can't throw low blows, and you got to know what low blows are, because you know some things are not just it's out of bounds. You can't just go certain places, but to argue and get certain things out, it's okay, because being realistic, you're not going to not argue. That's not being realistic. Because if you do not argue, and if you have a different something that you want to say, and the person don't agree with you, they're going to say why they don't agree, and you're going to say why you don't agree, and it's going to be an argument. But it's a way to fight. It's a way to argue. And what I have come to the understanding of is, okay, you say your piece, and I'm going to shut up. And whatever you say, I'm going to listen. I'm going to take it. And I'm gonna take it in, and I'm gonna take it in consideration, and I'm gonna really look at it real closely. And likewise, when I have my time to talk, you give me that same respect. And when I'm talking, you listen. So I think it's a point of giving each other that respect, that common respect. Learning how to listen, not just listen and ready to talk when somebody's talk. Not just listening, okay, I'm gonna listen to you, but while I'm listening, I'm just waiting so I can say the next thing I'm ready to say. Now, listening, what they call active listening. Active listening.
That's it, active listening.
Yes. And then not only active listening, it's another level above, which I have learned how to do. It's listening not to just the words, but to try to tune into that person's inner spirit, their energy, because they not have the right articulate words to express what they truly, truly feel on the inside. But if you know that person's heart, if you know that person on a spiritual level, and you tune in to them, you'll be less offended. You will be able to, like, you know what? I understand my wife. I understand who she is. So I know she doesn't mean any harm, no matter how it comes out, because I know her, and I'm not going to allow, because words have an ability to trigger you. Some can trigger you, and if these words are able to trigger you, that would take something to the right lane to the left lane. So I have learned how to look beyond the words and tune into her spirit that allows me, so I won't get triggered by words, or she won't get triggered by words. So I try, when it comes to me communicating with her, I try to say my opinions, and I don't make it a general statement. I've learned to try to be, as the four agreements say, more impeccable with my words.
Powerful. Woo. I had to just stop writing and just tune in, man. I love that. You deep, Brandon. You deep, man. And I love what you said. And I enjoyed what you said too, Kath. I couldn't capture everything. That was powerful. And not only the nuggets you shared about just handling disagreements as a couple, those nuggets can be just used in just dealing with family or on the job, just people in general, how to handle disagreements, about tuning into their energy, to that spirit, man, of that person. What are they really saying? You mentioned, Kathy, what is my ice maker? What is the disagreement? It could be something else. And Brandon, you're talking about the common respect. Arguments are healthy. Fight fair, and just really tuning in to what that person is saying. I like that, cuz. Woo. Powerful. Okay, this is my next question. What do you do to keep your marriage secure, sacred, and safe with each other, and not in the laps of others?
Okay. What do we do to keep it secure, safe, and not in the what of others?
And not in the laps of others.
Okay.
Meaning, I guess, keeping people out of your business. I guess that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
What I have learned, and I have understood from day one, that you don't go tell nobody about your marriage. The Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And he said, when you find that wife, you take her out of her mother's house and bring her into your house. So that means that it's not the family's business. It's not the mother's business on her side. And so it's not my father's and my mother's business on my side. What our personal marital relationship issues are, is for us to work out first. And if we want to seek out some additional help or some advice, then we do that with professionals, not friends, not through friends, not through family. Because when you involve those people, now they have a biasness against the other person, because you are going to report now because you're mad, you're angry, you're upset. It's the heat of the moment, and you're going to tell them all the negative aspects about this person. But next week, y'all happy, y'all eat popcorn, y'all drinking cranberry juice, sweet tea,
Cranberry juice.
looking at Netflix. And so, and y'all lovey-dovey, y'all lovey-dovey, holding each other tight, and got pictures on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. But last week, y'all hating each other guts. But family don't. That family don't have no. They don't have that same let down. So when you go back to them, they say that now they don't like that person. They truly say, okay, I don't like the way she did you. So you can't go back and say, you know what, I was just upset. You planted that seed in their mind. That person is spoiled goods to them. Yeah.
What advice would you give a married couple who is really at a low point in their marriage?
I would go back to marriage counseling, and I would say, also counseling for individuals. Like we did both, like Brandon said, we did individual counseling and we did marriage counseling, because sometimes it's not about the marriage, it's about the self. It's about what times it's about that we bring into marriage what we went through in our childhood, and even though a childhood can be, good, but there are certain things that went on that you may have some disagreements there, or things went on in the household, or what have you, in school. When you was in school, could have got bullied, whatever it may be. And so you bringing all of that into your marriage. Not alone if you say before you got married, you were, sleeping with other people, had other relationships, then all of those different energies you bring it with you to your marriage. And so a lot of times in conversation and the daily task is not nothing dealing with your marriage, it's dealing with all that baggage that you had beforehand. And so that's why it's good to go through separate counseling and marriage counseling, and so that you can figure out both. You can figure out what's wrong with you, and then figuring out what's wrong, what's going on in the marriage. And a lot of times, I know I learned this. I used to blame my husband on like everything, and I was hurt. And so what happened is I ended up having to counsel myself, and I learned that it was a lot of things that I had gone through, and the reason why I was hurt, and things like when it came to like being truthful or loving me a certain kind of way, it took me back to me being adopted and not having that relationship with my mom. And so, if he do something a certain kind of way, then it would affect me. And so, I had to learn that some of those things is just what I got from me not growing up with my biological mother. And then, being adopted and learning, I had a beautiful mom that adopted me and the family, but it was just, once I found out mentally, I wasn't right. And then other things occurred in my life. And so to sum it up, is a lot of times when it comes to, marriage, when someone's at a low point, I would say to seek counseling for yourself, and then seek counseling for the couple, because you will see that there's things going on with you, and some things could be right now, like something at work, something business wise, or with your children. Children definitely can affect your household, but also going back into your history and seeing what happened in your history, and that will help out. I know that's what we did, and that's what helped us. We was at a very low point, and what helped is us going to counseling separately and then together.
And just to put some context with that, this was not just your regular type of counseling session. So when she's talking about counseling, because I'm not the one to go just sit with anybody and to take advice from anybody, because I am very, very, very particular who I listen to. And so the type of counseling was not really a let me give you my advice, let me give you my opinion type counseling. This was more of a coaching type counseling where they was able to pull out of us the answers that was already in us. It wasn't people giving us any advice. So this was not any just sit down on my couch and let me tell y'all how to work it out. Yana Van Sant. This wasn't that type of party. This was let me help you discover who you are by helping ask questions that pull out of you the best things that are in you so you can understand more about whatever you are trying to accomplish in your life and what's the next steps for you to take. So this was not just a counseling like that, because me personally, I don't prescribe to a traditional type counseling just based on my research and my studies. And I'm not knocking it, but for me, that wasn't my cup of tea. And so I know a lot of other men share that same sentiment when it comes to wanting to go to traditional type counseling. So me, I prescribe to more of a non-traditional way of going to like that. So for me, coaching is a high type option. I would seek out a coach, somebody who specializes in relationship coaching, marriage coaching, or either take life coaching, take workshops, go to workshops, take a course. And then the key is to not look at the other individual, to look at yourself, because we as human beings are the most complex beings on the earth. We have unresolved issues from past hurts, pains. And like my wife said, she was hurt. She came from a hurt experience. And a lot of times when we enter relationships, we're not even finished with the last relationship we've been in. So we are carrying what I call that brown bag. And that brown bag is full of memories, it's full of hurt, it's full of all type of every single thing you went through, but it's in the subconscious mind. It's not in the conscious mind, but it's in the subconscious mind. And guess what it's doing? It's making your decisions. It's making you do what you do, and you're not even aware of it. You're not even conscious of why you're saying what you're saying. You're not even conscious of why you're doing what you're doing. So it takes a person to have that deep dive within themselves, that deep discovery within themselves, to come and first forgive yourself. Because the aspect of self-forgiveness, it allows you to release all your hurts and pains, your negative emotions that are tied into you from anything you've ever went through in life that hurt you, from anybody that hurt you. Because hurt people hurt people. Sick people get other people sick. Diseased people get other people diseases. Broken people break other people. So in order to alleviate that, you have to work on yourself. I'm a big proponent of working on yourself, and that can take place on so many different levels. Like I said, we're complex individuals. And then sit down and take inventory of your life together and apart, and come back like CEOs do at the board table when they come back and they bring the people to the table, and you say, let's have a meeting. Let's have a real meeting. And then you discuss before the meeting, you say, this is how this how we're gonna conduct the meeting. We're not gonna do this, but we're gonna do that. This is on the table, and this is on the table. Okay, now we can talk. Now you gotta set the parameters. You gotta set the mode of how we're gonna operate. And then you say, what do you want? What do you want? What's your goals? What's your goals? And then you try to merge that together. See, can we come in alignment? Most people are out of alignment. Person individually and then collectively. You can't be the word marriage means to become one. But just because you get married, you are not married yet. When you get married, you are not married yet. You have not became one singleized individual. Okay? Your spirits are not one. On the godly level, they're one, but not on a human level. So the human level, because flesh, two people got two different minds, two people got two different spirits. I mean, two different ways of doing things and seeing things. But you have to learn how to allow yourself to let go. That's really what the marriage is all about. Letting go of yourself. Letting go of this self that you think. When I'm talking about self, I'm talking about the personality. Because some people think I am my personality. You are not your personality. The personality is a device that has been created to defend you or defend the ego, self, and not the spirit. The spirit is complete. The spirit is full, and it does not need any other extra additives. But when two people are joined together, they're joined together hard. When two hearts are joined together, the hearts don't have arguments. Two hearts don't have disagreements because it's two spiritual beings becoming one, and that's what the marriage. That's what the union, becoming united, is all about. And then we talk about love. The Bible talks about different aspects and different types of love. It talks about a love that's conditional, and it talks about a love that's unconditional, that agape love, that love that no matter what you do, no matter what you don't do, I still love you. And that is the true point of marriage. When you get to that point, then you have truly became married.
Ooh. Ooh, I'm just sitting here taking this all in. Wow. Letting go of yourself. I just had to stop writing again and just listen to those nuggets. Yes, all about that mindset. And you talked about just letting go of yourself, about becoming one. And I like when you talked about the type of counseling y'all went through. You said it was a non-traditional type counseling. And it seems like maybe that's what more people need more of. Maybe not only, I guess, if you need it for marriage, but just on an individual basis to work on you before you say I do.
Yes.
That's all I have for tonight. These are all the questions I have. I just want to take this time to thank the social media audience for joining in with us. Of course, this will be on our Facebook page. I want to say a big thank you to Brandon and Kathy Carswell. They reside in Macon, Georgia. Check them out on their Facebook page. Brandon posts, I don't know, maybe weekly, but you'll see different posts he had when he goes live to discuss various topics. Of course, I stated earlier, his wife, Kathy, paparazzi consultant, she goes live, and she had, don't you have a blog page as well?
I have a Facebook page.
Facebook page.
And I have a VIP page for paparazzi as well.
That's it. So definitely check them out. I have enjoyed everything you all have said tonight. And hopefully the ones that join in, Bishop, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this because I'm just at all with what you said. But I wasn't surprised. I knew that Brandon was just gonna just share some nuggets along with his wife, Kathy. I can remember when y'all were dating. I can remember when Brandon was actually in the service. I can remember those years and how, you know, today y'all are still together. You know, both you all were very transparent tonight, talking about just some issues you had early on. You mentioned about being separated, but hey, you worked through it, you got back together, here you are now. So you all really have things that you can share with others to help them along the way. And I think it's 19 years, so that's a very long time. And just to God be the glory for just allowing you all paths to cross at the event years ago, and it was just meant to be. So I'm glad that Kathy met Brandon and Brandon met Kathy. Now Brandon and I are cousins. Our dads are brothers, so you know we go way back, you know, from this, you know, growing up. And I can remember us being little, going to Granny's house on the weekends to eat, just going to church. You know, this kind of brings back memories as we look back when we were little and where God has brought us from. But I just thank you all for what you all have shared on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was well worth it.
We had to wait for it,
but it was well worth it. You all had a lot to say, and just thank you for being transparent. And may God just continue to use you all mighty in your career, in your giftings, and definitely what you all said. I just feel that you all have something to say to help people heal on an individual basis, on a basis of maybe people that are married, to just help them heal and get through their problems.
Yeah.
A big help on tonight. Again, thank you all for tuning in to Tuesday Talk with Dr. Yaz. We did it a little different, but that's okay. 46 minutes. I'm going back and I'm gonna have to watch this weekend because y'all shared some great. You know, I love to grow and to listen to people when they're just really pouring, when they're just pouring in with purpose. I know you mentioned, Brandon, about, what was that you said? Something about you don't listen to everybody. You know, it just depends on what they have to, something you alluded to. And I'm the same way. If it's something that's not going to help me grow or be better, I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
But what you and Kathy have as a couple, and then on an individual basis, what y'all have is to help people to grow and to be better as transformational coaches and life coaches. So y'all be great. Have a great night and a great week.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. You be blessed. You be blessed.
Thank you.
Blessed.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.